What's good, YouTube? How's everyone doing? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to yet another reaction video. If you're new here for the first time, my name is TMR, and since you clicked on this video, you might as well subscribe to this YouTube channel, and please make sure you click the notification bell and make sure you give me a big thumbs up and also leave your comments down below. Welcome back, TMR gang. Welcome back to the Chronicles. I'm your host, TMR. And I hope you guys are having a really good day. Alright, y'all, so we're going to get right on into it. We are going to discuss Liv's life, y'all. I know, sis, I know. I know a lot of you guys are on the fence about Liv's life. Some of y'all love her, some of y'all hate her guts, and some of y'all just like, girl, I don't care. I'm just here for the tea. So, so hopefully we can cover all bases with this video. And we're going to get right on into it, okay? So the other day, Liv did a live, and she titled it, Taking It There, I think it was. She had the middle finger to the sky, and I said, ooh, okay, well, this can only include two people. One or two people. Gerard or Brandon. Or sis could give us a whole combo today, and it could be both of them. Well, you guys, as I clicked on the replay of the live, we discovered that it was just Gerard. Okay, Gerard was the feature of this live. And I'm like, ooh, now what did happen over here with Gerard? I said, I thought y'all was, everything was copacetic and okay over there with y'all. Y'all realized that y'all are toxic for each other, and obviously you moved on with Brandon and he's moved on with whoever he's with, and y'all, but I guess, yeah, that's not the case. So Olivia started the live in the kitchen washing dishes, and she was very upset. So apparently from the live, what I gathered from the live was Gerard had just popped up over her house, okay? And they had a conversation. He wanted to see the children, okay? And she was like, no. I guess she was like, no, she didn't want the kids to come downstairs. She basically said, why don't you come upstairs? And he was like, no, I'm not doing that. Just send my kids downstairs and let me talk to my kids. And y'all, so I guess she eventually let him come downstairs, and I don't know, y'all. Olivia was all over the place on that live, and I'm gonna just tell y'all this. The live was about 1 hour and 40 minutes, and I watched it in segments until I got almost to the end of the live. So what I took from the live was, the other day, maybe it was Saturday, Olivia went to a birthday party or some type of party. Maybe it was a birthday party, and Gerard came and left abruptly, okay? And when Olivia went to call him, because I guess when Olivia and them left the party, Christian said, I want to talk to my daddy. So Olivia calls him, and so she say Christian can speak to him, and they get on the phone, and I guess she was like, he had her on speakerphone. So I guess she was like, the kids want to see you, why don't you just come over and chill with the kids, whatever. He was like, nah, I don't think that's a good idea. Well, obviously he said that because he had the other woman. I think Olivia said the girl name is Anastasia or something, I don't know. And all of a sudden the chick in the background blurts out, you ain't got a bed. So Olivia was pissed, because I guess she didn't realize the chick was in the car, and then she was like, how you just gonna have this chick listening to our conversation? So I'ma just say this, y'all. When Olivia left Florida and came to Texas to be with, to try to rekindle her relationship with Gerard, it sounded like Olivia didn't know Gerard was living with that woman, okay? So once she got to Texas, the cat got out the bag, and she found out that Gerard was living with that chick, okay? So the plan that Olivia initially had, where she was going to try to get her man back, blew up in her face, basically. Okay? And, you know, initially, you know, y'all know when Olivia was planning to go to Texas, she was, you know, first she tried to act like she was going to be with some man in prison, and then she act like she was going back to California. Then she tried to act like she was in Houston. Y'all remember Olivia used that whole "I'm going back to Texas" and she played it out, a big game. But we know why, because Olivia likes attention and she know that garners a lot of views. Sis got to get her check at the end of the day. So okay, we get it. But what Olivia, I don't think she understands is, since the whole time you was doing that, Gerard was watching that. And I just really feel like if you was going back there to get your husband, to get your relationship back, since you should have went there on some grown woman business, right? Not on no childish ish. Now, here's the thing. You might not like what I got to say, and obviously she don't give a F about what I got to say, but y'all, the truth is the truth. When Gerard left Olivia in Florida, since he had already checked out on you mentally, from what it sounds like, Gerard has been checked out on Olivia. If you really want to know the truth, both of them have checked out on each other, because Olivia said in that live they both been cheated on each other. And you know, the biggest thing that keeps Gerard and Olivia together is their sexual attraction to each other. But y'all, us as women, we know, y'all, that's not gonna last long. Like, you can get sex anywhere from anybody, but what you can't get from anywhere and anybody is that mental attraction, right? You can't get that because you know, you don't click with everybody, right? You can have a sexual attraction to, you know, anybody. So for the longest, Olivia, to me personally, Olivia took the sex as her weapon to control Gerard. And we know now that Gerard is a hoe cake, and it worked for a long time. But now it's not working like it used to. Now, Olivia also said that, you know, since she's been back in Texas, her and Gerard had sex multiple times, okay? And, you know, obviously, y'all, she says that because she knows that the other chick, Gerard's girlfriend, watches her videos. And obviously, y'all, she used that as a weapon to hurt that girl. But here's the thing, Olivia. To me, personally, it makes Olivia looks desperate. It makes her look thirsty in a way, because it's like, girl, you knew the whole time you was laying up with that man, you knew that he was with somebody else in Texas. Since you knew that, and since you kind of played yourself, you put yourself out there in a very vulnerable position, obviously because you still love this man. But Olivia, love don't live here anymore. Since it's over, it's gone. And I know she said for years she was able to use different things to persuade Gerard to come back or for them to get back together. But I think at this moment, I don't think that's working for them anymore. Now, Olivia's whole thing is with loyalty and respect. And Olivia feels like because she is the mother of his children, that he should respect her. And she's right. He most definitely should. Regardless if he dating one woman, 10 women, he definitely should respect the mother of his children. Okay? But Olivia, if he's not going to do that, since I wouldn't be, screaming it from the rooftops and demanding it, because respect comes naturally. You shouldn't have to ask for respect. A person should just automatically want to do that. But because her and Gerard together have done so much to hurt each other, I really feel like the respect is gone between them two, because so much has happened with them two in such a, within 8 years. The unfortunate thing about Olivia's and Gerard's situation, and really with a lot of people, a lot of women, we use the kids as collateral damage. The kids become collateral damage in all these situations because, Olivia is trying to move back to Florida, y'all. And I'm just like, girl, I'm just going to be honest. Olivia, my God, sis, go somewhere and sit down. All this going back and forth. It's like you trend setting all over the country. And it's like, Olivia, you know, I just really wish she would just realize that a man is not what's gonna make you happy. Now, I understand a lot of people say Olivia got daddy issues, but you know, sis, you're 30 now. You gotta figure out a way to stop having those issues, because you got daughters that you're raising now that sounds like could potentially have the same issues because their dad is in and out of their life. So do you want your daughters to cope with their dad not being a constant in their life the way you're coping with it? I would hope you wouldn't want your daughters to do and live like that. So why are you continuing? To me, y'all, it's like, why does she continue to keep putting herself through this emotional roller coaster? Like, look, sis, we understand you love Gerard. She said many times in her live she still loves Gerard. And sis, that's fine. But sis, you can't love something that don't love you back. Like, you got to accept the fact that at this point, Gerard and Olivia has ran their course. And if they haven't ran their course, they definitely would run their course this time if it was me, because you wouldn't keep playing me with like that. You just wouldn't keep doing it. Like, Olivia, I wouldn't want to be with a man. To me personally, I wouldn't want to be with a man just because I know my poo nana can capture him, right? My poo nana is the reason why I could keep this nigga on lock. Yeah, that wouldn't be the reason why I want this man. I would want this man because he wants to be with me forever, for whatever reason. You know, not just because of my poo nana is, you know, that ushy gushy. Yeah, that's not the only reason. I want this man to want me and love me because he feel like I'm special and there's no one out there like me. Mentally, physically, you know, whatever. Not just in between my middle. Y'all know. I'm gonna be right back, y'all. Let me order my coffee real quick. So anyway, y'all, she said, you know, so now she's saying that Gerard is serving her papers. And she feels like, from what it sounds like, I believe she thinks that Gerard's girlfriend is his legal counsel or something. Like, Olivia is very upset with the other woman. And rightfully so, she should be. But she called the woman a homewrecker. Well, no, sis. I mean, she probably participated in it, but Gerard definitely is the one who wrecked your home, sis. He wrecked your home, right? You said I do to Gerard. You didn't say I do to her. Gerard couldn't come back to a woman if there wasn't a woman there. See, what Olivia's not understanding is Olivia left Gerard in Texas. And you left a man by himself in Texas when you first moved to Florida, knowing from your own mouth that he loved women, right? So, Olivia, did you really think that Gerard was going to sit there and be faithful to you while you were living in Florida, trying to do whatever you're doing in Florida, when he wasn't even faithful to you when you both were sitting in Texas together? Sis, did you really think that? I really feel like Olivia feels like her punana, I think she feels like that's her weapon, and that's how she can control men. And maybe that's how you've been controlling men. But sis, you got to figure out another way to capture a man, and not just with your middle, sis. Then you got to figure out a different way. That's not going to be it. As you can see, that's not always the answer. Because sis, everybody got a coochie, and guess what? Somebody got a coochie that's better than yours. Yes, most definitely, sis. Somebody got a coochie that's much better than yours. The thing is this, I wish Olivia would just realize that this too shall pass. I understand a breakup. I understand loving a man and feeling a man. But you know, and I understand all that, right? God knows, y'all, I'm a woman. I love, you know what I'm saying? So I get all that. But sis, you should never love somebody more than you love your own damn self. And I really feel like how Olivia is portraying herself out here, you know, she wants to say, you know, you're my husband, I'm your wife. Well, you know, Olivia, throwing those words around for you right now in y'all situation, sis, it's irrelevant. Because Gerard, if he cared anything about the marriage, he never would have left you in Florida, sis. And when he would have left you in Florida, sis, I would have had to heal there. I wouldn't have, you done spent all this money. You done sacrificed all you did in Florida to go back to Texas and to ultimately see this man don't want you. Now, I understand that's a hurtful feeling. God knows. I mean, Olivia's human, so I expect for her to feel pain. But Olivia, you have to realize, even if there was some reconciling your situation, since it's too much has been said, too much has been done, and too much has been seen between the two of y'all to even think about reconciling that situation. I wouldn't even want to think about reconciling that situation because it's a very broken relationship. It's a relationship that really, to me personally, just watching and listening, it was a relationship that really never had a leg to stand on. So I'm gonna say this, y'all. So Olivia says in the video that Gerard basically is saying now she can't take his kids with her. You know, y'all, Olivia's trying to go back to Florida. Actually, right before I started filming this video, I seen that she had a premiere coming out at 3 o'clock talking about bye YouTube, goodbye YouTube. So Gerard basically said, oh, you're not taking my kids. Like, I'm gonna fight you for my kids. Well, okay, sir. Again, y'all, they're using the kids as collateral damage. Again, sir, these are the same children that you left in Florida. Yeah, you left them in Florida, being their daddy, with their mother. And I mean, it's only right if Olivia is not going to, if y'all, you know, obviously Olivia's whole objective moving to Texas was to rekindle y'all relationship. Yeah, that's not going to work, you know? So she got to go back to where her support system is. To be quite honest with you, she shouldn't have never ever left, right? You shouldn't have never left, sis. You knew that going back to Texas was not, well, I'm going to say this. Olivia should have known that going back to Texas was not going to be what it was. Like, it wasn't going to work, because if it was going to work, sis, he wouldn't have never left. You know, Gerard and Olivia both have hurt each other in several different ways. And, you know, and I guess you guys, we all can have opinions about this because Olivia chooses or chooses to put it out on the internet for people to have a thought and opinion about what she's going through. And the reason why people can have these thoughts and opinions, because obviously, y'all, there's a lot of women and men that's going through what Gerard and Olivia are going through or have went through or whatever. So that's why people have thoughts and opinions. And a lot of times, the thoughts and opinions of other people are not going to always be in Olivia's favor, and they're not going to always be in Gerard's favor. And Olivia has to understand that, since everybody's not going to always be in your favor of this situation, because people are going to look at it in different perspectives. And as an adult, you should be able to understand that. But one thing I will say about this other woman, Gerard's girlfriend, sis, you need to have several seats. You need to sit all the way down. You need to let Gerard deal with Olivia by himself, okay? Because you in the wrong lane. This ain't your territory, okay? Because I'm gonna tell you an old saying, okay? The way you start with a man, oh, sis, most definitely will be the way you lose that man. And if I was you, I would let Gerard's grown ass handle his situation with his wife and his children. And since if you feel like he's not handling it the way he needs to handle it, then you handle him the way you need to handle him. But as far as you know, I mean, I understand Olivia lashing out at her, so she obviously feel like the only thing I should do is lash back out at her. But then you have to understand why Olivia is lashing out at you. Girl, you sit up there with her whole husband. I mean, my God, what do you expect? Just like you loving on Gerard, you don't think Olivia's still loving on him too? Of course she is. Like, sis, you got to understand, you put yourself, that Gerard's, the other woman, you put yourself in a messy situation. So, sis, you got to expect messy results. Period. Even when you met Gerard was still messing around with Olivia. I mean, obviously, they weren't in the same state, but we already know how that went. And more than likely, Gerard lied to the other chick, Anastasia, whatever her name is. Gerard lied to her about the validity of him and Olivia's relationship. Since you got to understand, he lied to you. He left Texas and went back to Florida and not even was there 60 days and married Olivia. So sis, you have to understand that Gerard is not the Bible over there. You can't believe everything Gerard say. And if I was her, Gerard would have to show me some proof, okay? And me sitting there waiting on the results wouldn't be it. So now Gerard doesn't want Olivia to know where he lives at, okay? Olivia said that they moved and she doesn't know where they lived at, but obviously he knows where she lives at. Well, Olivia, you know, just because your kids are there, then sis, you're the fool, because every time Gerard pulls up, knocks on the door, honks the horn, calls your phone, you jump. You're at attention. Girl, stop being so disposable to Gerard. You don't owe Gerard anything. And what you did owe Gerard blew that up. So you don't owe Gerard anything, okay? If anything, what y'all need to do is y'all need to owe yourselves a trip to the attorney's office and go and get y'all divorced, because Gerard and Olivia's situation is very, 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 very toxic. It's not even healthy for them. So it damn sure is not healthy for those children, you know? You know, I hope if Olivia does go back to Florida or wherever she's getting ready to do, whatever, if she's going to go back, stay in Texas, whatever, I hope Olivia really gets herself some help, some counseling. You know, she wants to talk about all the negative things about Gerard, but Olivia, sis, you got to check yourself too, okay? It take two to tango, sis, and to be sitting up there with a toxic individual, since you got to understand there's some toxicity inside of you too, okay? So you got to understand that you have some fault in this situation as well, and you can't keep condemning Gerard for his faults when you're not even taking care of your own. So you got to me personally, I feel like you need to handle your own convictions, and then once you handle your own, you won't be worried about Gerard and what he's not doing right, other than paying the child support for them children. You know, I feel like 5 years from now, or hell, maybe even a year from now, Olivia's gonna look back on this situation. She's gonna be like, golly, everybody plays the fool. And I'm hoping she is able to do that. I really am. I'm hoping Olivia really realizes that, you know, I tried, but it just didn't work out. And wipe your hands of that situation, girl, and let that man be. Like, because this is ridiculous. All this back and forth on the internet is solely ridiculous. She said that Gerard only showing those pictures on the internet because he wants to hurt her. Well, you know, to be quite honest with you, Olivia, you've hurt him. He's hurt you. You guys both hurt each other. In this situation, everybody's wrong. Right? Everybody's wrong. Olivia's wrong how she handled it. Gerard definitely is wrong how he handled it. Everybody's wrong. But at this point, Olivia needs to grow up. That's the biggest problem to me. And I'm going to just say this because Olivia is a woman. Sis, you need to grow up. You need to get your grown woman-ish on. Displaying all your vulnerability on YouTube. You know? I mean, that's just me. Because if you think about it, what about the next man? I ain't even talking about Brandon. Because Brandon, you don't even need Brandon. Brandon might be a nice guy. But Olivia, right now, you can't even appreciate Brandon's niceness. Because her mind is so clouded with Gerard. Girl, you can't see the forest for the trees right now. So, you know, Brandon could have been the one. But because you were still so messed up in your head about Gerard, Brandon was never going to have a good leg to stand on. Yeah, never. You know, because you're not going to allow it because you're still holding on to Gerard. And since you can't hold on to something, that's not holding on to you. And Gerard definitely is not trying to hold on to you. She said Gerard is very mean and nasty towards her right now, and she's so appalled. She really thought Gerard was going to respect her. She thought her and Gerard was always going to have this understanding. Well, sis, maybe y'all was, but clearly right now you're not. And unfortunately, Olivia has to deal with the fact that Gerard is not playing fair ball. Like, sis, you're going to have to deal with that, and you're going to have to get in the game with him. And if he's not going to play fair ball, then since you get an attorney and you play with him. Okay? Like, that's period. You can't let the internet be your attorney. The internet is not your attorney, honey. You need to get real legal counseling and set some grounding rules so you and Gerard can co-parent. Because that's the thing. You're going to have to co-parent with this man. Regardless about how you feel about Gerard today, sis, you definitely gonna have to co-parent with this man. He is going to be in existence for the rest of your life, basically. Okay? Because even once your children are 18 and grown, you still gonna have to coexist with this man when they get married, they graduate college, or whatever they choose to do in life. You're gonna still have to coexist with that man forever, for the life of those children. Okay? I don't know, y'all. It's just, I don't know. I know a lot of people will want me to say, Olivia's stupid, she dumb, she this, and y'all, yes, Olivia is, she's very naive. And I just really feel like the women in her lives are not being realistic with Olivia. That's my personal opinion. Olivia needs somebody to really lay the smack down on her. When I say that, I mean conversation wise. She really needs somebody to lay the smack down, because to me, the passive conversations that her mother is having with her is not helping Olivia. It's just not. It's not giving Olivia the right guidance. I mean, Olivia's mother was cool with paying the car note for Gerard, while Gerard rides around all in the car with no regards to her own daughter and her grandkids. Like, this man is shitting on your daughter and your grandkids, but yet you are keeping him in a car? Girl, please. Nah, hell no. Like, at this point, both, so when you listen to that about what Olivia's mom did for Gerard, then you can only understand why Olivia keeps doing what she's doing. Like, I don't know, y'all. It just don't make really a lot of sense to me. But I just really feel like Olivia needs a strong person in her life to really, tell her like it is, and no cut, no chaser. Because that's what it is. At this point, since there's no cut, no chaser, we can't sugarcoat your situation, since you out here looking like a real big fool, okay? Because Gerard is over there acting like he done got the prize. And, Gerard, maybe you do have the prize over there, but the way you play games, you ain't gonna keep that prize long, okay? Because that girl gonna get tired of your ish if you don't get your ish together. All right, y'all, I'm gone. I'm out of here. I definitely will see y'all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching the Car Chronicles. Please make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel if you enjoy these type of videos, so you can always be notified every time I put up another one. Remember, you guys, sub what you love. Bye-bye.